MGM Studios, September 1967. The western town set sprawls across 3 acres of backlot, complete with saloons, a sheriff's office, and enough dust to choke a horse. The Wild Bunch is 2 months from production, but the studio is using the set for a smaller western, featuring both Ernest Borgnine and Audie Murphy. Ernest Borgnine stands in the shade of a false front building, wiping sweat from his forehead with a bandana. At 50, he's Hollywood's go-to tough guy, the man who made meanness look authentic on screen. From Marty to From Here to Eternity, Borgnine has built his reputation playing hard men who solve problems with their fists. Across the dusty street, Audie Murphy sits on a wooden crate, methodically cleaning his gun belt. The ritual is precise, military. Each piece of leather examined, each buckle tested, each holster checked for smooth draw. It's not preparation for a scene. It's something deeper, more ingrained. Borgnine watches with the casual interest of one professional observing another. He's worked with dozens of actors who play cowboys, soldiers, and gunfighters. Most of them are decent enough with the props, but naya be it. Borgnine knows acting when he sees it. What he's watching Murphy do doesn't look like acting at all. Kid knows his way around a gun belt, Borgnine says to the prop master, who's arranging weapons on a nearby Della table. That's not acting, the prop master replies quietly. That's muscle memory. Borgnine's been in Hollywood long enough to understand the difference between performers and the real thing. He's met actual tough guys, dock workers, ex-cons, men who earned their scars the hard way. Murphy has that same quality, but refined, focused, dangerous, in ways that street toughness never achieves. The director calls for a break in shooting, and several actors gather around the craft services table. The conversation turns, as it often does on Western sets, to quick-draw techniques. Someone mentions Glenn Ford's reputation as Hollywood's fastest gun. Ford's good, says one of the younger actors, but I've been working with a quick-draw instructor. Timed myself at 1800ths last week. Borgnine chuckles. Not bad, kid. But speed without purpose is just showing off. Murphy looks up from his gunbelt maintenance, his pale blue eyes assessing the conversation without judgment. He doesn't participate in the boasting, doesn't offer his own times or techniques. He simply listens, nachafiu asawi adashalai is compersel filai, with the patience of someone who's heard it all before. Before we continue with the demonstration that would show Ernest Borgnine the difference between Mosta, Hollywood toughness, and authentic lethality, let me ask you something. Have you ever realized that someone you thought was just another guy was actually in a completely different league? Hit that subscribe button too. See what happens when real recognizes real. What about you, Audie? The young actor asks. You must have some quick-draw training for all these westerns. Murphy's hands pause in their work. Some. Borgnine studies Murphy's face, recognizing something in that understated response. In his experience, men who've actually done dangerous things rarely talk about them. It's always the wannabes who can't stop bragging about their skills. Come on, the actor presses. You're in every western made these days. You must be pretty fast. Murphy sets down the leather he's been cleaning and stands slowly. There's something in his movement that makes Borgnine's survival instincts twitch. The careful economy of motion that comes from having been in situations where wasted movement meant death. Fast enough, Murphy says quietly. The young actor grins, sensing an opportunity to make an impression. Want to show us? I'd love to see how my technique compares to a professional. Borgnine sees something shift in Murphy's expression. Not anger, exactly, but a calculation. The look of someone deciding whether a lesson needs to be taught. If you want, Murphy says. They move to an open area of the set, away from equipment and crew. Word spreads quickly. Actors love any excuse to stop working and watch a demonstration. Within minutes, 20 people have gathered in a loose circle, including Borgnine, who positions himself where he can see everything clearly. The young actor takes his stance. Textbook perfect, weight balanced, hand poised above his weapon. He's clearly spent money on instruction, probably practices in front of mirrors, timing himself obsessively. It's the poi kind of dedication that Hollywood respects and rewards. "Ready when you are," the actor says, confidence radiating from every syllable. Murphy doesn't take a stance, doesn't position himself, doesn't prepare at all. He simply stands there, wait. Shifted slightly forward, hands relaxed at his sides, looking like he's waiting for a bus rather than participating. In a quick-draw contest. Borgnine frowns. This doesn't look right. Murphy's form is all wrong by Hollywood standards. No preparation, no coiling tension, no visible readiness. For a moment, Borgnine wonders if Murphy is toying with the kid, setting him up for embarrassment. "On 3?" the actor asks. Murphy nods. 1. The actor's hand moves imperceptibly closer to his weapon. His breathing changes, becomes more controlled. His eyes narrow with focus. Everything about his body language screams preparation and technique. Murphy doesn't move, doesn't change his breathing, doesn't even blink. He looks almost bored. 2. The actor coils like a spring. Every muscle in his body tenses for the explosive movement he's practiced thousands of times. His instructor taught him to visualize the draw, to see the gun clearing leather, to anticipate the perfect arc from holster to target. Murphy stands like a statue. Borgnine starts to think this is going to be embarrassing for Murphy. 3. The actor's hand snaps downward with practiced precision. His draw is clean, fast, technically excellent. The door gun comes up in a perfect arc, exactly as he's been trained. It's the kind of draw that wins fast draw. Competitions, impresses audiences, and gets you work in westerns. But Murphy's gun is already there. Not drawing, not moving. Simply there, aimed with casual precision at the actor's chest, as if it had materialized out of thin air. Borgnine blinks hard, certain he's missed something, but the impossibility stands before him, Murphy's weapon. Aimed and ready before the other man's gun has even cleared leather. The silence stretches like a held breath. The actor freezes, his weapon half drawn, staring down the barrel of Deletea. Murphy's gun with the expression of someone who's just seen magic performed at close range. "Jesus," someone whispers, "how fast was that?" The script supervisor, who's been timing with a stopwatch, looks at the device like it's malfunctioned. 12 hundredths, she says, voice uncertain. "But that can't be right." Borgnine steps closer, his actor's eye trying to understand what he's witnessed. He's seen every quick-draw artist. In Hollywood, worked with stunt coordinators who've perfected gun work to an art form. What he just watched operates on a different level entirely. Murphy holsters his weapon with the same fluid motion that brought it out. Automatic, unconscious, the result of muscle memory developed under circumstances no acting class ever simulates. "How?" the young actor asks, his voice barely a whisper. Murphy's expression doesn't change. "You were thinking about your technique. I was thinking about the target." Borgnine understands immediately. This isn't about speed competitions or Hollywood bragging rights. This is about something else entirely. The difference between performing violence and being shaped by it. "That's not possible," the actor insists. "Human reflexes can't move that fast. There's got to be a trick, some technique." "It's not a trick," Murphy says quietly. "It's necessity." He turns to walk away, but Borgnine steps forward. "Audie, wait." Murphy pauses, his pale blue eyes meeting Borgnine's. In that gaze, Borgnine sees something he recognizes but has never encountered at this level, the calm certainty of someone who's killed men and made peace with it. "That wasn't acting," Borgnine says. "It's not a question." "No," Murphy replies, "it wasn't." Borgnine has built his career playing tough guys, men who solve problems with violence, characters who represent strength and intimidation. But standing here, looking at Murphy, he realizes he's been playing dress up. Murphy isn't acting tough, he simply is. How many? Borgnine asks quietly. Murphy's expression grows distant. 240, that I'm sure of. The number hits Borgnine like a physical blow. He's played killers, soldiers, hard men from every walk of life, but he's never stood 3 feet away from someone who's actually ended 240 lives and lived to count them. Jesus Christ, Borgnine breathes. They were shooting back, Murphy says, his voice carrying no pride, no boast, just simple fact. It was them or Ben, me, or them or my squad. Speed wasn't about looking good or winning competitions. It was about going home. The circle of actors has gone completely silent. This isn't entertainment anymore. This is education, the kind that leaves permanent marks. Borgnine, who's never been at a loss for words, finds himself speechless. His entire understanding of toughness, of what it means to be dangerous, has just been recalibrated. He's spent decades perfecting the performance of menace. Murphy has lived the reality. When you draw in a movie, Murphy continues, you're thinking about hitting your mark, looking good for the beckusness. Camera, making sure your form is right. When I drew in combat, I was thinking about ending the threat as efficiently as possible. Murphy's voice never rises above conversational level, but every word carries the authority of experience. The gun isn't a prop. It's not a tool for showing off. It's for killing people who are trying to kill you. The young actor who started this demonstration looks pale, shaken. I didn't mean, I was just... I know, Murphy says, his expression softening slightly. You were having fun. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you ask a soldier to demonstrate his skills, you're asking him to access the part of himself that kept him alive when other men died. Borgnine watches this interaction with the fascination of someone witnessing a masterclass in something he never knew he didn't understand. He's built his reputation on projecting danger, on making audiences believe he's capable of violence. Murphy doesn't project anything. He simply contains it. The 1200ths. The script supervisor says hesitantly, "Is that normal for you?" Murphy considers the question. Depends on the situation. In combat, when lives were at stake, faster. Here, just demonstrating. I was taking my time. Taking his time. Borgnine processes this, realizing that what he just witnessed, a draw so fast it seemed to violate physical laws, was Murphy operating at less than full capacity. How much faster? Borgnine asks, though part of him doesn't want to know. Murphy's smile is thin, humorless. You don't want to see that, Mr. Borgnine. That's not for entertainment. The circle begins to disperse, actors drifting away with the subdued air of people who've witnessed something that challenged their fundamental assumptions. The young actor who started it all holsters his weapon with mission, shaking hands and walks away without another word. Borgnine remains, studying Murphy with new eyes. I've been playing tough guys my whole career, he says finally. Thought I understood what that meant. Murphy nods. You understand performance. You understand how to make audiences believe you're dangerous. That's a valuable skill. But it's not the same thing. No, Murphy agrees. It's not. Borgnine extends his hand. Thank you for the education. Murphy shakes it. A firm grip, calloused hands, the handshake of someone who's done physical work under difficult circumstances. Any time, Mr. Borgnine. As Murphy walks away, Borgnine remains standing in the dusty street, processing what he's learned. He's spent decades perfecting the art of looking dangerous, of projecting menace and strength. But he's just met someone for whom danger isn't an act. It's a fundamental part of who he is. That evening, Borgnine sits in his dressing room, staring at his reflection, the face that's launched 1,000. Tough guy rolls, looks back at him, and for the first time, he sees it clearly. It's the face of an actor. A good actor, a successful actor, but an actor nonetheless. He thinks about Murphy's calm expression as that gun appeared in his hand. No strain, no effort, no dramatic, flourish. Just lethal competence, operating at a level that made Hollywood's best quick-draw artists look like children playing with toys. Word of the demonstration spreads through Hollywood, as these stories always do. But unlike the usual tales of actor ego and on-set drama, this one is told in hushed tones, with a kind of reverence usually reserved for discussions of natural disasters or acts of God. Borgnine never speaks publicly about what he witnessed that day, but his approach to tough guy roles changes. He becomes more subtle, more grounded, less concerned with projecting menace and more focused on tech-to-self, suggesting the kind of quiet competence he saw in Murphy. Because Ernest Borgnine learned something that day that changed how he understood his craft. He learned the difference between playing dangerous and being dangerous, between acting tough and carrying the kind of Coley experience that makes toughness irrelevant. Murphy's 0.12 seconds wasn't just fast, it was a glimpse into a world where speed isn't about competition or showing off, it's about survival. And survival operates by rules that Hollywood has never learned to replicate. In a town built on the illusion of danger, Audie Murphy reminded everyone what authentic lethality actually looks like. Not dramatic, not showy, not designed for applause. Just efficient, immediate, and as natural as below. Breathing. Borgnine carried that lesson for the rest of his career, understanding finally that the most dangerous men are often the quietest ones. The ones who don't need to prove anything because they've already proven everything. That matters. Hit that subscribe button and tell us in the comments. Do you think there's a difference between looking tough and being tough? And unfortunately, they don't make men like Audie Murphy anymore.